Well, okay. Hello, dear colleagues. We are the teachers Blanca Georgina Aguilar, María del Rocío González, and Sergio Reyes. We are teachers from the National Prep School at UNAM, campus number 7, and we're going to present our work to you. The title of this work is Academic Projects that include teaching in the, academic projects that include technology in the teaching learning process. We are going to talk about two projects that we carried out at the EMP7. They are InfoCAF projects. Their titles are Elaboración de secuencias y material didáctico para mejorar el aprendizaje de la lengua inglesa en la ENP and Diseño y elaboración de 3 recursos didácticos para la enseñanza-aprendizaje de la lengua inglesa en la ENP. The first one is about didactic sequences that were elaborated according to the English 5 program using TICS. The second one is about the design and elaboration of 3 digital didactic resources, which are infographies published at an UNAM repository. Now, teacher Georgina Aguilar will talk about the first project.
Thank you. Well, now I'm going to talk about the InfoCAF project PB 402920. For this project, we designed and developed 6 didactic sequences according to the contents of the English programs. 2 sequences for English 4, 2 for English 5th, and 2 for English 6th. We began designing them in 2019 for face-to-face work with didactic activities online. But because of the pandemic, we had to change all the activities to work online. So we developed them to be used on a teaching learning platform. And for the interactive games, we used the EducaPlay platform. The 6 sequences were piloted by 9 teachers in 6 of the 9 prep schools. And the results, we think, were optimistic. So during COVID-19, 3 of them were accepted by Dirección General de la Escuela Nacional Preparatoria to be implemented on the Moodle and Google Classroom platforms to be shared with the teachers of the 9 preps. We also organized a colloquium where teachers from different prep schools participated, sharing the experiences working with these sequences and materials, and with some other designed them by them. Okay, now next, please, Mr. Sergio.
Yes, this is one of the, well, it's the second project that Rocio was talking about. And it was called Production of Interactive Infographics with PowerPoint for the RUCAF. This is at UNAM. So RUCAF is a repository where we wanted to publish 3 interactive infographics. And they have to be done in PowerPoint because that was part of the rules for in the calling of the materials that the RUCAF had to publish. Everything was done in line, as you can see in one of the pictures over there. And we were designing, planning, and doing the 3 interactive infographics. We were working everything online. 9 teachers, 4 teachers of English, and 5 teachers of informatics from 4 different prepas, Prepa 2, 5, 7, and 9. All of us are from the UNAM. In the next slide, we can see a little bit of the general view of the 3 presentations that we have at the repository. We have to do the piloting of these infographics in order to do some changes and to finally publish it. The students have to do a pre-test and post-test in each of the infographics. And besides that, we design a Google Forms questionnaire in order to check the feeling of the students about the exercises. And finally, we ended with a colloquium where we presented our projects together with other teachers and other projects in the last school year. Thank you.
Okay. Now, this didactic resource is one of the ones that mentioned teacher Sergio. It is called Scientific Text, and it is a digital infographic which you can download from the RUCAB, that is an UNAM's repository. This resource was elaborated for the English 4 subject. The contents tackled in this resource are the structure, characteristics, and purpose of scientific texts, as well as the identification of the cause-consequence relationship in a scientific text. Next slide, please. The media which make up this material are PowerPoint, images, text, interactive activities with hyperlinks in and out the resource, questionnaires in Google Forms, a PDF document, and the tool for interactive and multimedia contents called Lumi. The activities contain a diagnostic test, explanations of the addressed topics, examples, games with self-evaluation, and an interactive glossary. This glossary is very interesting because it gives some of the vocabulary of one of the documents there. And it has a final test to evaluate what the students learned with this resource. Okay, thank you. Next, please.
Well, now this is the interactive infographic that was produced for English 6. And as you can see, as the others are hosted in the repository of the UNAM called RUCAB. And as the RUCAB has specific requirements, as the teacher Sergio have just said, we had to produce it in PowerPoint and with the help of the Lumi platform, which is a free open source. Interactivity begins when the buttons are pressed, leading students to perform different activities. Let's see, in this screen, we can see when we press the orange button, they can solve the pretest. Pressing the green ones, they can study or review the uses and the structure of the two future forms. We can see here some uses and examples of the future forms. Also, they can find the structure and the conjugation of each of the tenses. And if they press the yellow ones, they can solve 8 different activities or exercises or games, like they like the games. And at the end, if they press the blue button, they can solve the post-test. So they are more or less doing the same activities. Now, in the next one is going to continue Mr. Sergio.
Thank you. Well, this is about Unit 6. This is the front page that you can see in the repository of the RUCAB. And we chose the passive voice because it's one of the problems that students have in the 6th grade. In the next slide, we can see some examples of what we have in the infographic. First, at the top left, we have a reading comprehension exercise that we did about different news that we find in the newspapers. By the way, everything was done by us, so we have to do our previous knowledge about how we teach English and how we find materials to teach English in order to have a completely new didactic sequence. In the next slide, in the next picture, sorry, no, go back. In the next picture, you have the memory game where the students have to work with irregular and regular verbs. Then on the top right, you have practice exercises. We use topics like Harley Davidson and Bob Dylan. And in the last one, you can see that another thing that we were thinking that it was important, the self-evaluation exercises. After the students answer the exercises, they have immediately a feedback where they can see if they were correct or not. The next slide is for your team.
Okay, thank you. Well, now we can conclude that thanks to Dirección General de la Escuela Nacional Preparatoria of the UNAM, and with the collaboration of some teachers from different subjects and different prep schools, the academic projects had, among others, the following results: 6 didactic sequences, which contain online materials created on the EducaPlate platform, 3 interactive and didactic resources, which are hosted in the RUCAP repository of the UNAM. Both projects contain a pre-test and a post-test topics, presentation examples, interactive activities, and feedbacks. Not only the both projects, but in every activity of both projects. And mainly the students' motivation to learn brought about by the interactivity of the materials, which reinforce their knowledge of the contents of the English programs, as shown by the results of the statistics. Well, this is our presentation. And here you have our emails, and we thank you for your attention.